Okay, so we are here on page 177. Right, compound interest calculator. When you invest your money, you earn interest. This interest is added to your principal amount and your investment grows. This is known as compounding. The compounded amount becomes the principal amount on which the next interest is calculated. Okay. So a client invests an amount at a fixed interest rate, and a client has a target amount to reach with his or her investment. Enter the principal amount to invest, the interest rate, and the target value that a client wants to reach. We want to calculate how many years it's going to take the client to reach his target. So we must display the year and the amount calculated at the end of the year. I guess that's the year, for each year. Right, so here we have our program. We're going to double click the on-click event. Here it is, calculate, BTN calculate. So we have investment, interest, target value, and now we're going to go through this step by step. Declare the following 7 local variables. So because this book is here, I'm going to copy and paste the words so I don't have to type them. I know, that's bad. But I'm doing it to save time. We have our PDF file here, and this is allowing me to do this. So we're going to declare a lot of variables here. They're telling us to. We have our investment, our interest, our target, all real. And they're showing you the purpose of all the real values. There's R value and R growth as well. We're on page 178 now. We're putting these variables in here. And then we'll put our integer variables in. I have I here. Then we have a string, S value. Now you can see it in your textbook, so you go ahead and put those variables in as quickly as you can. Our investment is the initial investment. Our interest is the interest percentage, which is added from the edit box. Our target is what we want to have accomplished, how much money must be available, what our goal is. Our years, to store the number of years. Our value initialized to the our investment amount. Our growth is the interest amount calculated for a year, and S value. Yes, it's quite confusing, isn't it, people? Very confusing indeed. But our investment and our interest and our target, those three we're going to get from our input, our edit boxes, the input components. So if we follow our instructions carefully, we have EDT investment, EDT interest, and EDT target, but don't forget the interest must be interest percentage. So we're going to go and double click our button, say R investment, equals string to float, people, string to float. And then our interest, equals string to float. EDT interest.text. Just getting the input from the components but converting them to real numbers with string to float. So we have to do that. The R interest is supposed to be a percentage. So if they make it a percentage, then we have to divide it by 100 to get a fraction. Because 80% is actually 0.8. 20% is 0.2. 5% is 0.05. You understand? So we're going to type in 80% or 20%, but then we've got to divide that by 100 to get the real decimal value. And then our target is EDT target.text, but converted to a floating point number. The rules for programming is that on the left-hand side and the right-hand side of your assignment statement, you must have the same data types. Same data types on both sides. If you keep that rule, then you won't have any problem with programming. Okay, next thing. We're going to set a year to naught. We're going to keep track of every year's input, you see. Every year we will have a value for the investment, but that value's got to start at the initial amount of money, and then we're going to add interest to it each time in a loop. So we'll go and get R year equal naught and set R value just like they're telling us to do. And I've just done that now. We'll find out just now, we'll understand why R value is now equal to the original investments. Let's say you invested 50 Rand. And we're going to add an interest to that every time. So we don't want the initial investment variable value to go away, to disappear. We want to keep it for maybe you want to record it somewhere else. So we're going to say R value is going to change each time. So R value can change each time inside a loop. And we're going to clear our list boxes because, it's the right thing to do before we go and display anything. So there's only one list box here, LBX values, I'll just say dot clear, good enough. So LBX values dot clear, always a good practice so that we don't have items on top of each other. So now we're going to repeat. So this is the tricky part. If we have a look at what our descriptions are here, that growth is going to be the interest amounts calculated for a year, value times interest, and then we're going to add the value, or add that growth to the value. Then we convert it to a display, and then we increment our year. The year is going to be added on. And we are going to do this until R value is greater than or equal to R target. So we know that we're going to add interest at least once. Not so? So we need a repeat loop. And we have a growth that's going to happen for each year. But we're going to repeat this until R value is greater than or equal to our target. We want to know how many years does it get for us to get to our target value. How many years will it take? That is the problem we're trying to solve. So each time we're going to add an amount to our value. Our value is our original investment. And we want to add our amount to that. What is the amount? The amount is going to be, we're going to use a variable called R growth to calculate what the interest is. R value times by our interest. Now, because we already divided by 100, we don't have to divide by 100 here. So we calculate the interest, say 50 Rand and 10% interest. Actually, when you run this program, you'll see how it works. And then after we've calculated our interest on the value, now we're going to add that interest to the value. So we say R value colon equals R value plus R growth. And then we increment a year because now we're on that 1 year. So you can type what I've put there on the screen there now. Okay. Now, at the end of this, we can then go and display how many years that it took. So we will then go and display that inside the result.caption. So I want you to get that on RBL result.caption. So we increment our year inside our repeat loop. It's a small little repeat loop, but take note how we initialized everything beforehand. And then we did all our things at least once. We added some interest. And the value, I mean, like if it's like 100% interest, then obviously maybe it'll only take 1 year to get our value, you know what I mean? To get our target. But we have to at least go once with adding interest. Yes, this is it. Okay, so let's run the program quickly and see if there's any mistakes before I stop this video. So let's make 50 Rand, 10% interest, and I want to get 200. Calculate. 15 years. It's going to take me 15 years to get 200 if I have 10% interest on 15. Seriously? No. Where are we going to display? Let's go and add our value each time. We want to add our value to the list box for each year. So I'm just taking that code like this. This list values is called list LBX values, LBX. I'm actually going to put into string the year, our year. I'm going to put that in my list box, join that to a string, a space, and join that to the actual value. Just so that I can see what's going on with my program. Take note of what I did there. We get a string of the value formatted to currency, and then we add that to the list box. So each time we calculate a new value with the growth added, then we get that. It was growth value times interest, value plus growth, and year plus 1 until R value is greater than R target. Yes, there we go. So now we can go and run. Let's see. I've got 50 Rand, interest of 10%, and I want to get 250. I'll make it a bit larger. And there it is. But this is interest per year, okay? This is interest per year. Although, take note, look what happened here. We reached over we were going to over 250. As soon as it hit over 250, it stopped. So that was good. Right, so there's your program.